Welcome back to Terror Takeover, your one-stop shop for all things creepy, disgusting, and horrifying. I'm your host, Crow.
Yay. And I'm Char.
And we're here to have a Valentine's Day episode. So let's talk about love. Let's talk about lies. Let's talk about disgust and deceit.
Yes.
um,
Yes. The blood
I
and
just want to
romance in the
mention
air.
Absolutely. I just want to mention that we are like across the world from each other still. So I'm still
I
using
know.
a different mic, so it sounds a little bit different. But also there is a delay like between the two of us. So if you notice that we like interrupt each other a little bit more frequently, just bear with us. It's because there's a delay because we're so far from each other. So, but anyway, yeah,
Yeah. But
for
only for a
sure.
little bit longer. Maybe like 12-ish hours or less. So soon we'll be reunited.
Yes! Oh
Yay.
my
Well,
gosh, I'm
actually,
so
no, that's not
excited
true. It's 12 hours for my flight, but then
for your
I still
flight.
have another
Yeah.
like 24 before I get to like to see you. But soon, soon. It's okay. I'm
So
excited for
Shar
an
is
entire
meeting
day.
us. Yes. For those who don't know, Shar is going to be meeting us in Asia, which is like amazing.
Yes, yes. I don't know why it wasn't supposed to be like a secret, I guess. But now I feel like I've been like hiding it for this time. But it's so yeah. I'm gonna be meeting you guys. And because you didn't
Yeah.
know, people will be seeing pictures. Probably by the time this comes out, you'll be seeing photos of me, and hopefully in Tokyo as well. But mostly going to be in Bangkok and Phuket and
Yeah.
Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur with the gang. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. First time
I'm
ever
so
in
excited for you to
Asia.
be here.
Second
Yes.
time international
Oh my
traveling.
gosh.
Yes, yes. I'm so excited.
Oh,
I've been
really? It's only your
prepping for
second
like two
time?
weeks. Well, yeah, yeah, because the only other times I ever went was obviously like the first time I ever like came here and then going to Nigeria. Although actually I think we went to
Right.
Nigeria twice. It's just been so long that I don't even remember.
Right.
Like, I think I went when I was like 9 and then again when I was like 13 maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so
Right. Right.
those just
Right.
those two times and now this is going to be the next time I've gone somewhere and like really gone and explored. So I'm excited and I've never gone with
Yes.
like friends, so that'll be cool. Hanging out with
Oh my
the
gosh, how
girls and the
exciting.
guys. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so, so sad. I wish I could tell my cat I was leaving. I'm trying to let her
Oh
know, but she
no.
doesn't understand. I
She's
have
just
my
like,
pink
what are you
suitcases
talking
out.
about?
I know, I know. I think she kind of knows because every time those boxes come out, somebody's disappearing, either
Yeah.
them or me. So, but
Yeah.
she doesn't know when I'm coming back
Aw.
as the real tea, but it's okay. It'll be
Right.
okay.
I wish
Yeah,
we could talk to animals and explain to them that everything's
yeah.
gonna be okay. Having some technical difficulties. I think I like figured them out
Beep,
though,
beep.
and we should be okay. Yeah. Anyway, ignore
Yeah, I think we're
that.
all good.
But we were talking about how you are about to be joining us, and I am super, super excited. I have never been like outside. The only other time I've been outside the country is like with my band last year for tour. And I am just really excited. I've always wanted to go to Asia. Like, I've never been before,
Yes.
even though I am an Asian person. And we've always talked about it too, which is crazy. Like, specifically Thailand, we've always
Yes.
talked about going. So
Yeah.
it's really cool that we're like making this become a reality.
Yes, yeah, it's gonna be so, so, so fun. I'm ready for just like good vibes and sand and good food and just like hanging out and just not worrying about anything.
Yeah.
I'm ready to like disconnect from everything and just get away from the
Yeah.
world for a while. I hope it's
Yeah.
really relaxing getting out there. I can't wait to like see all of the beautiful temples and all the nature and like wildlife everywhere. Like I think it's just gonna be like I keep saying like, but I think it's going to be a very life changing experience for both of us. So I'm super pumped about it.
Absolutely, yeah, it's been amazing. Also, like if you, which you know we are, if you're a big shopper, if you like just like looking or browsing or just like honestly, like everything is like really like affordable here. I feel like depending, like if you're gonna go
Nice.
to like Uniqlo or like Victoria's Secret or something, like the prices are gonna be more or less the same because it's like like a worldwide like company or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah.
if you're going to like the smaller shops that are like family owned or like independently owned, like like
Like
smaller,
local.
just like right, it's like super super dumb cheap. Like they have these little stores in the mall that are like kind of like little fashion boutiques. And I went shopping the other day. I got two shirts and a dress, and I think it was something like $20, which doesn't sound like super super cheap
Damn.
probably to most people, but to get something like that in America would be something like 30 or
No,
40
I'd
at
be like,
least, like double the
yeah, at
price.
least.
So
Yeah, probably like 60 in these
yeah,
days. You can't get nothing cheap anymore. Girl, hell
right,
yeah.
right, right. Yeah,
Going to
so it's
spree.
It's super, and it's really cute stuff too. Like, also, I will say, like, the fashion over here is like different from America as far as like,
Really?
I guess like because it's in Asia, it's a lot more Korean inspired. So there's a lot
Okay.
of like little cute, like kind of like Korean and like Japanese like inspired, very like
Oh, I love
feminine, very
that.
girly, very like whimsical, kind of like yeah, super super cute.
Nice. Oh, I'll probably love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's super
Okay.
cute. I will say like comparatively like in America, I feel like a lot of designs are like pretty I don't want to say like basic, but like just not super out there, not super
Like neutral.
like adventurous or whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very like safe kind of like styles depending on where you're going. And so it's kind of like a breath of fresh air to go somewhere and like see all these things that are like really exciting and like fashionable and cute. So as somebody who loves to shop and loves to
Yay.
dress, so yeah.
Yes. Okay, okay. We're gonna get our looks on. I can't wait. It's gonna be so
Yes.
nice.
Super cute.
Yay.
Yeah. Should we dive in?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Sorry for jumping around so quick, guys. Me and Kai are celebrating Valentine's Day a day early,
Aw.
and we are going to be going to the aquarium and probably having like lunch or dinner or whatever. So, yeah, but
That'll be
anyway,
beautiful. I love
today I'm
that.
super excited. Today we are going to be talking about My Bloody Valentine, which actually was suggested by Zoe, even though she's not here. So thank you, Zoe, for the suggestion. I had seen the movie years ago, but it's been like years, so it was nice to be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
rewatch it.
I've never seen it before
And we
until now, but it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about like cult classics. I think not last week, but the
Yes,
week
last
before,
episode.
and like what is a
Yeah.
cult classic, you know? And I still don't really know, but I would say My Bloody Valentine is totally a cult classic. Like it has a big following. Like it's totally like
Yeah.
a horror namesake. I feel like a lot of people know this title, even though the director. I kind of looked into it, and I don't think the director. His name was, I think, George Mihalka or Mihalka, or I don't know how you'd say it, but I
Michaela.
don't know that he really did like a lot of other movies that like
Yeah.
became like popular or successful or anything like that. I think what makes this movie such a cult classic is just because it's perhaps like the
Yes.
first and probably only of its kind as well. Like I don't know that there's another movie that is even similar in any way. Like or at least at the time, um, a fucking like miner goes like crazy and like kills people. Like I mean that's like
Yeah, that's true.
so like
Yeah.
random and original. So even if you don't like this movie, like you have to hats off to the fact that it was like super original, super creative as well. And I
Yeah.
love like the opportunity for a creative kill scene. So and this movie's like
Yes.
full of those basically.
Yeah.
Um, I
Definitely
will
lives up to
say
the My
that
Bloody Valentine title. It is nothing
right.
but bloody scenes, essentially.
Wait, we have to mention how fucking awkward and like hilarious it is to name drop the movie at the end. Like there's a part
I
where
know.
the guy we don't want
Oh
to reveal
my
who the like
god.
final killer is, but like there's a part where he's literally walking away and he's like, "My bloody Valentine." It's like you didn't have to do
Yes.
that. That's
Oh
so
my god. What
cringe.
the
But
hell?
anyway,
What is
but
happening? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Long story short, if you haven't seen this movie, it's basically about a murderous miner who totally like fucks up a small town out of revenge for being abandoned in the mines on Valentine's Day, like years prior. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just like ridiculous. But basically,
Yeah.
in the movie, it's a bunch of like young adults, which it's like kind of confusing because I don't know if this is a Canadian thing or whatever, but they're planning like a Valentine's Day dance, but they're like adults. So I guess I don't know if
I
that's like
know.
popular in other places to
That
do
part
that.
never, like, everyone kept saying adults, but then, yeah, they're having a dance. So I'm like, are
Yeah,
they in high school? Yeah, it's
yeah,
very strange for
and they
me,
have like
but
full
I don't know.
jobs, like adult jobs and
Yeah,
everything. So I
careers. I'm
think,
like, huh?
yeah,
But I guess,
maybe in other places it's like like it's popular to have just like an event where you can just get dressed up, like a gala type of thing,
yeah.
which I
It's a
think is
very
kind
small
of
town, it
cute.
looks like. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
exactly. Which I would love that. I would love to have an excuse to like get dressed up and go somewhere.
Yeah,
But
a little formal. Yeah.
yeah, basically they end up moving the dance gets canceled because like people are starting to die and everything, and they're like, well, we need to cancel everything. But the young adults end up deciding to throw a party at the mines that they work at, which already sounds like a terrible idea. And at some point,
Yes, who
get
is
drunk
trying
and
to
decide to
party
go
in a
down into the
mine?
mines.
Like, I think at one
mean,
point somebody
okay.
says, "Oh, it's gonna be a blast," and the guy's like, "Yeah, literally a blast." And I thought the same thing. Like, what the hell? No, no, you cannot make noise in a mine. Like,
Yeah.
what? Okay, I feel like that's
Yeah.
just like
Like,
basic knowledge, but whatever.
right. I thought that the like the actual rec room like of the mine like looked cool and fun. Like I'd totally be down to party there, but
Yeah,
it was just like who at the point that somebody is trying to go. First of all, I can't stand a motherfucker that is like trying to get drunk and just do dumb shit. Like, can we chill out? Can we
yes,
chill
yes. Can
out?
we all just
We
sit
don't
down and
have
have
to
a
go.
time?
Yeah, it's literally like there's
Somebody always
always
wants to
that
climb on the
person.
roof. Somebody wants to go break into
Yes.
somebody's house. I'm like, no, no, we're not doing all
I'm not trying to go. I'm not trying to go
that.
in a mine. I'm not trying to go like down a well, or I'm
But
not trying to go
no.
anywhere that I won't be able to get out. Like, please, let's stay
Oh
above
my
ground.
God,
Let's stay above
please.
ground.
Low key, I could see
Yeah,
somebody telling me I'm trying to go down to a well. I think I would ponder it, especially drunk, but no, no, no.
I would
It's not something
too.
I
I
should
would too.
do.
I'd probably
It's
go
not something I
though.
should do. Because I would never.
Yeah.
Man,
To be
help! Not
totally
me calling you
honest.
from a well. Girl, you're not going to believe this. Please. If you called me from a well, I would never stop laughing. Like, I would never. I would laugh so much, I wouldn't be able to call 911. I would just be laughing and laughing, for real.
I feel
But
like if I'm getting in
anyway,
a well, it's because you're there. Like I wouldn't just get in a well if you were
probably. Yeah,
at
I
least at the
know.
party in some way.
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd hope so.
Right.
What do we
I
even
will say, as
have,
far as
though?
like the
Well, anyway.
movie, as far as the movie, I feel like it's very predictable who the killer is. Did you agree with that?
You know what? No. Am I a clown? I didn't know. Am
No.
I a clown? I did not know until the scene. I was like, oh my God. I thought this guy was all like, it was just a lot. It was a lot for me. Not a lot, but like, I didn't see it coming, but I guess I should have. I'm trying to be
Well,
more, I'm
so
trying to be less of that person.
yeah. Well, I think my original idea was like that it was more than one killer at first, but then after a while, it was like people would start getting attacked while certain people that
Yeah.
I thought could have been the killer were like not doing the attacking. Like like it was a
Yeah.
place where they had like an alibi, and then I was
Yes.
like, okay, well, this person disappeared at one point for a long period of time while certain people died.
Yeah.
This person was never in the same room as the killer at any point.
Girl,
So I was like,
my dumbass didn't
it's
even
gotta
think it
be
was like that kind of
no.
movie. I was like, oh, there's just a guy that kills people. Okay, it never even
Harry,
occurred to me that it would be.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought Harry was man. What? I thought it was Harry. What y'all mean? Oh my God! It never even
Well,
clicked for me. So
and I was
good,
also
good
thinking
stuff.
like Harry would have been like old by that point too, and he
Oh,
was like
that's
really
true. That's true.
strong and all that
Well,
stuff. But
that's something about this movie. I couldn't even tell what time it was supposed to be because everything looked so old, like so
right,
old time. I was like, "What decade is this? It can't be the
Canada.
'80s for real."
Yeah,
Like, girl, I guess
but
so. Dang.
I
So,
feel
I don't
like
know.
also like, and I'm not an expert because obviously I was born
Yeah,
in the '90s, but I just from watching movies, I feel like the early '80s was vastly different from the late '80s.
you
Like,
think so?
have you noticed
Probably
that?
so. I
Well,
think
I
so
just
because I
feel
think
like
late '80s was like all the flashy stuff that we know, like
right,
the bright
right.
lights and neon and stuff. While early '80s was still everybody's like, I guess, in
It's
those
more
like old
'70s.
looking cars and like the more
Yeah,
conservative vibes and not conservative, I
right.
guess, because also the '70s.
Reserved,
But
I
yeah,
think, is maybe what you
yeah,
mean.
yeah,
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 more
yeah.
reserved. People weren't like out there. I don't
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
it
is
is
crazy
different.
to
It
think
is.
about. Like, it's literally just like the course of like 10 years. But like, if you look at movies from 1981 compared to movies like from like 1987, even like 5 or 6 years, later, it's like, whoa, what's
Yeah.
happening? Because all of a sudden, like, everybody's wearing like neon and like rollerblading everywhere. And like in the other
Oh
movie, it's like
yeah.
people are still like in like a neutral
Man.
turtlenecks and shit.
Yes, 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 for real. We gotta dive deeper into like '80s horror, I guess. Well, we kind
Yeah,
of did, but yeah,
for
we have.
sure. Or like do like a
Good time for
comparison.
movies. Yeah, that
Absolutely.
was really. I think because we like slashers so much, and I think the '80s and also apparently the early 2000s are really well known for like slashers. So I don't know. We just try to
Yeah,
keep being drawn to these
man.
times.
I love, and it's probably because I was like in junior high at the time, but I love an early 2000s slasher. I love it. I think it's
Yeah.
like so iconic. And I love rewatching them too because they're usually so much worse than I remembered. But anyway, that's neither here nor
Yes.
there.
Yes.
But
Yeah. No. 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 Well, I thought of
um,
that because some people were saying that the early 2000s was like the '80s part two, and I can kind of see how they like
yeah.
remade My Bloody Valentine in the early 2000s as well, and it was a little bit. Obviously, I didn't really get all the way into it, and a lot of people say it's not
Mhm.
as good as the first one, but some people say that it's also a bit scarier or gorier in a way. So I don't know. Both movies were
Yeah,
extremely gory, but
I would agree with that.
extremely
So
gory. So
yeah, so I actually watched the remake years and years ago when I was like a teenager, like probably a good 10 years ago. So it's, and I tried to rewatch it again. I didn't finish it, but I got like through quite a good bit of it. And it is, I will say, like the one thing that it has going for it, and well, the one thing it has going for it is that it is extremely gory. If you like super gory movies, like you'd probably like it. And actually, at the time that it came out, I feel like it was also kind of like being pushed as that. Like it was supposed to be pushed as like a
Yeah.
shock value kind of thing. And there are some parts that are like pretty like funny and well, you know what I mean, like dramatic. Like it's a very creative kill scene. Like there's one part where
Yeah.
the pickaxe goes through the back of the girl's head, and or no, I can't remember exactly, but I
Man.
think it's like the pickaxe goes through the back of her head and then her eyeballs on the end, which actually happens in the original as well. But I feel like it is done
Yeah.
like really dramatically in the remake. But I will
Man.
say beyond that, as far as like the remake, and I don't want to go down as like a remake hater because I know a lot of people called me out for like what I said about the Thing remake, which is valid though, because
Man.
because it wasn't supposed to be like an actual remake of the movie. It's supposed to be like a prequel or something, or a sequel. I think a prequel, which is like that's valid, that's fair.
Yeah.
The My Bloody Valentine remake, in my opinion, is not good. I think it's cool that
Man.
Jensen Ackles is in it. He's a great actor, but the movie is not great. It's filmed like a soap opera, literally. Like if you're watching it, it's got, you know, when you're watching like on one of those really nice like 4K TVs, and then it almost looks a little
Yes.
bit
Yes.
worse.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
literally like
Yes.
that. Like that's
Everything
how the
starts moving
movie
all weird.
looks.
Yes.
It's
Oh
just
God,
strange.
that would
Like the
stress me out.
FPS
I
is
hate
too
stuff like that.
smooth. Yeah, it's really, really strange. And then
Weird.
also, I feel
Yes.
like they changed the plot a lot. Like they changed like really like, which
Yeah.
okay, in a remake I can handle that. Like if you're thinking of like the newer Evil Dead that they had come out with, and I'm talking about the one that came
Yeah.
out in like 2014 or whatever. I don't remember exactly what the year
Okay.
was. They took like they changed all the characters, which I think is like if you're gonna change anything about it, just revamp, like do it completely, you know. And that's what Evil
Yeah.
Dead did. But this one had all the same characters. They just like changed where things happened in history, and then they changed who the killer was, and they changed like it was like some really like important details, but not like
Yeah.
enough to actually like totally change. I thought that was really strange, and
That's
I don't want
fair.
to totally be a
Yeah.
hater because I do like some remakes, like Evil Dead, for example. But I just really was not a fan of this
Yeah.
one, and I would say
That's
probably
fair.
don't bother unless you just like felt like having it on in the background, like at a party or something. But it's not great
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Man. Well, a lot of people
Yeah.
also, I think some people also got into it, like they only watched the remake first. Like I don't know how many people went back and watched the
Right.
1980s one besides real horror
True.
fans. So there's that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
highly
Absolutely.
recommend
You're
going back
right.
for the first one.
Absolutely, you're you're so right because I do think that probably a lot of what, and maybe people will disagree with me on this, whatever. But I think probably a lot of what really made My Bloody Valentine a cult classic is the remake. I think because
Yeah.
like the remake really like kind of blew up a little bit, and I think it was a Lionsgate movie as well. I don't know that
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
successful, but a lot of people knew about it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that that drew attention to the original a lot more. So
Yeah.
I totally like
And there was
it.
a lot of drama with the original as well, I think, with, all
Hmm.
the unreleased footage and going back and forth and how like
Right.
it was so like dramatic for its time, and I'm sure like it was just kind of funny
Yeah.
because watching it, I mean, yeah, it was horrific. Like I'm not saying it was casual watching, but it also wasn't like, I don't know, I've definitely seen worse in the past couple of months
Yeah.
since this
Well,
movie
at the
came out.
time, I mean, I guess you
But
have to consider at the time, you know, that
no,
was
yeah, for
probably
sure.
a lot. Like the part where
Yeah,
he
no,
puts
definitely.
the girl like on the shower spigot and the water is just like coming out her
Aw,
mouth. Like that
yes,
part is
that was messed
crazy.
up. Mine was the hot dogs. The hot dogs was too much for me. Seeing the boy, that I was like, oh wow, oh wow, okay, okay,
Not
okay.
the
This is
hot
really a
dog
horror
water.
movie. Yes, literally, I was like, please.
Yeah, this is
Oh my
definitely an
god,
irreverent
yucky.
film. Yeah, or
Yeah,
the
yeah, it's
part.
definitely a good time.
I like wrote some parts down that I thought were like particularly upsetting, and I would
Hell
say that
yeah.
one of the parts for me was definitely when they find like Maple in the dryer, and she's just like still turning.
Oh my god, evil! Y'all doing that
She's
to an
all
old
burnt up
lady
and
is
still
so
turning.
cruel. Yes, that was wild. That was insane. I was
Yeah,
like,
and she was
wow,
so
this is sick.
sweet
Yeah.
too.
I
And then the
know, she
part
only
they
had good
find the guy,
intentions.
yeah, the guy gets like
Which one?
the box of chocolates that he's like worried it's gonna be a heart, but it was just like
Oh man.
actually chocolates that she sent him.
Yes,
That's
I was
so
like,
sad.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah, me
also a
too.
part that I thought was super scary was like, and this isn't like crazy or gory or whatever, but it's like whenever they're running from him in the mine carts and they're like jumping over the
Yeah,
mine carts, that part is like super suspenseful and creepy because I'm just
yeah, yeah.
thinking,
It's very.
I don't know. Of course, it's one of those things where you're watching it and you're like, bitch, I'd be out of there. But honestly, it felt like everything was
You
moving so slow.
Man, I know I wouldn't be. I would be fucked. I would be so
Hmm.
screwed trying to run through those. I'd be like, yeah, I would definitely trip and fall at least like 5 times. It'd be over,
Yeah, I'd
man.
definitely
But
trip.
yeah, or like, also, I'll probably be Patty the whole time. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I would be Patty, like screaming my head off, just crying, and you probably have to like, you would have to slap the shit out of me and be like, "Girl, get it together, like right now."
Yeah,
That
when
would be
Sarah
my
slapped her,
vibe.
I
Like,
was like, oh, please, thank you. Because
thank
she was just
God.
screaming. Or the part where they're like
Yes,
climbing the ladder and she's just
yes,
like,
that's what I'm thinking
I'm
of.
not
Yeah,
moving. It's like,
I'm done. I'm
bitch,
done.
you better move.
Hello?
We're trying to get
Like you gotta do something,
the
like or like jump off, then
anything.
something. I
Yeah,
don't
literally, get out the way,
know.
girl.
Yeah, but also, I could imagine like running for your life in a fucking
Yeah,
mine. Like, oh man, that
yeah,
sucks. That is
yeah,
so
that would
whack.
suck.
But wouldn't be in that situation in the first place. So I'm not going to a wet
Yeah,
ass mine
literally.
party. But anyway, anyways,
Oh, the part also,
yeah.
another part that was like really gross was whenever he was like, she went back, I need to hold his hand, I need to hold his hand and all that shit. And then you just see
Oh
him on the
my
other side
god.
cutting his arm
Just I was
off.
like, this shit is raw. So that's apparently that was one of the scenes that wasn't in that they had originally like they weren't gonna show. So supposedly there was
Oh.
like, okay, I read about this, but I didn't fully understand. I'm still not sure what the real tea is. At one point, the director said they cut out like 10 minutes of the movie, which is a lot, I think, whenever it was
Wow.
first filmed, because it kept getting an X rating, they had to cut it down to get an R rating. But then
Mm.
they released another version after Lionsgate kind of stepped in and got the rights to it. That had 3 minutes added back in, and supposedly that included that scene with the arm like being cut off, and also the flashback
Oh.
scene, which I won't say anything else about that, but the flashback towards the end before that. Um, and then
Which we can talk about that later.
yeah, that
What
was
the fuck was
crazy.
that?
But yeah, so I'm just yeah, so apparently
Yeah.
apparently that was something else that was cut out. And I can see why. That's a watching someone do that was is a that's like
It's
a
a
lot. I
lot.
can
Yeah.
see especially back in the 80s. I'm sure they were like,
Yeah.
"What the hell? This is
Yeah.
that satanic stuff."
Yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
So,
But I think
yeah, yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
doesn't Canada like I feel like for whatever
Oh
reason
yeah,
I
yeah. I
always
keep
hear
forgetting that.
like right back in the like 80s and 70s like I feel like they always were one of those countries that like had kind of a lot of like censorship in like horror movies, or am I making that up? Like I feel like I always
I
hear
have no
about stuff like
idea.
that.
You
I'm
know,
not really
it's really
100%
embarrassing. I
sure.
know a couple Canadian people, but I really don't know the tea of Canadian culture like
Right.
that.
Right, right,
Damn, we should have
right.
looked into Canadian culture. Well, if you're Canadian and listening, let us know where y'all what's y'all's
Yeah.
vibe with horror, you know? The
Yeah.
history of horror
How are
over
things?
there.
Tell me the story because we want to know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was a cool movie. I enjoyed rewatching it.
Yeah, so it did pretty well for its time, and it came out around the same time as like other really big movies, like Friday the 13th came out the year before. So I feel
True.
like people were probably looking for like a modest kind of slasher, I guess. So obviously, I was doing research on this movie, and like a slightly controversial take. I saw people were saying that this movie was very comparable to Halloween, or like it was almost even a ripoff of Halloween. Would you agree with that or no? I didn't really get that vibe watching the movie, so I don't know why that's like the
um,
critique, but.
I would
Like
say
I can
like
see why, but
literally the only part that I would say like yes to would be like that it's like a silent killer just like stalking and like killing one by one like one person at a time. But that literally could be said about basically any
yeah,
slasher movie around the time. So I don't think I would agree,
yeah,
but I guess I'd have to like see like point by point like what their comparisons were because I mean people really can't just say anything, but
yeah,
oftentimes like I feel like people say things with substance at
yeah.
least in the
No, no,
background,
no, for
but
sure. Yes. Well, this is one of those movies. I guess something else about a cult classic maybe is that when the movie first comes out, it's not always well received, and that it kind of takes a while to get liked. And so, besides this movie being like scary
right.
for its time, I guess the other big thing is that a lot of people were saying that, or I say a lot of people, but I mean like obviously critics or whatever, were saying that it was just too much of a Halloween ripoff, or that it was just like a very bloody version, didn't really have like this deep plot or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like like you said, I feel like it's original. It's instead of being the usual teen bopper movie or like college students in suburbia, it's like these
Right.
young adults in a mining town living a life that we can all relate to, you know? And yes, people are all like being killed,
Yeah.
but and the killer is like silent. But yeah, like you said, that's every movie that's come out in the 80s essentially. That doesn't really
Yeah.
mean anything. You know what? Oh, man, I feel like you're not supposed to, but I would have picked Axel. I don't know. TJ just seems annoying to me.
Yeah. So I get
Man.
it. Like TJ is like her original like lover, whatever, and that was like another part of the plot that I thought was like kind of like weird and unexplained was that he just like disappeared and nobody talked about it or like asked why or anything. But they made it sound like he just
I feel like they
disappeared for
had
a
to just
while and
force
came
a
back
love story
randomly.
in or something.
Right. But I feel like well also another thing is they were supposed to make a sequel at some point, but it just never happened. So I wonder if they were going to explain that at some point. But
Maybe. Maybe,
random.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
But
just never
anyway, so
came
I get
around.
that. But at the same time, it's like, girl, that man left you, girl, and you're gonna really go running back to him? That's crazy. I would have picked if I was Sarah. I would have picked Axel too.
Corny. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
really
would
would
have picked
have.
him
Plus,
too.
he
And
was
then also TJ
fine.
was
What
kind of just an
the hell?
asshole.
Yes,
TJ was just kind of a
yes.
dick too. Yeah,
Oh my god, what a strange
yeah.
movie. Not strange, but like strange love interest,
It
strange
is strange.
protagonist, but
Yeah,
you
it
know.
doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but yeah. And then they're just
Yeah,
fighting the whole
but
time. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, yeah.
I know
TJ I
that
thought
was
was
too
a
long.
dick. So.
Like somebody should have been like, somebody should have stood up and said, you know what, I don't need
Oh,
this.
this
I
is
can do a little
ridiculous.
better.
Yeah,
But you know,
definitely.
it is a love story, so
Yeah, yeah, ridiculous. But anyway,
yeah.
um, guys, hopefully we didn't have too many technical difficulties. It kept like shutting off in the middle of recording, and we kept having to jump right back into it. Next week we shouldn't have that issue because we're going to be together, so we're just gonna make it work. Yeah. But
I'm
thank you
so
guys so
excited.
much for listening. I know that when this episode comes out, it's going to be a little bit after Valentine's Day. So we hope you had a wonderful and romantic Valentine's Day with just a little bit of
Yay.
murder. Not too much, though.
Yes,
And we
lots
will
of
see you
blood.
guys next week from Thailand. I think we'll be in Thailand when we record it. So, yep.
Yes.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
guys.